What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. This is some useful tips for anyone that's wanting to do the homestead thing. Maybe you want to start a farm, you want to get your own small business going on, you want to start something. This is like a lot of reflection on what I've been doing for the last 4 or 5 years. And I look at what I've been doing, and I'm like, okay, yeah, there's some progress there, but it feels like, what am I doing? Like, it feels like you're on a treadmill. So this is a pond project I started a couple years ago. We need the pond to create the fill for the house. Plus I want to change the topography here a little bit because it's just what I wanted to do, and want to have you need a water source. So this is the water source we did. Got to put a aerator in here, get rid of some of these lily pads that are happening. We've landscaped the outside of it. Should be really awesome in a few years. Like it's real deep. It should be real nice. But I've been working on this dock, right? Little fishing dock. The idea of this dock is that we'll have solar panel on it. We'll have an aerator pump that'll be there. We'll have a couple pieces of equipment that will pump water around to the property. So I'll be able to, like, when I want to use like fish pond water, I'll be able to utilize it. But here's the thing. I thought for sure this weekend, I was like, I'll get this dock done. Now, I did the posts a while ago, a long time ago. I cemented in the posts, and then I did the frame on it not too long ago, and then I started, and now I got to put the hangers in, right? I got to put those hangers. I got these extra boards. I haven't even gotten in the decking yet. And I'm probably, like, when I originally thought of it, I was like, I don't know, maybe like $1,500, build this thing out. Now it's going to be like a $3,000 dock. It really is. Like, at the end of the day, the amount of concrete bags, the amount of stuff I put in, that's not labor and time. That's just like, yeah, that's just everything to this point on this project has taken me a lot more than I had initially thought it would take. So originally I was like, I had uninformed optimism. And then you'll go through this stage, whether it's small business or it's a homestead or it's whatever project you're doing, where you'll have informed pessimism. Like you start out, you have uninformed. You're uninformed and you have optimism. You're like, oh yeah, man, we could build a barnuminium house, man. We could clear 6 acres. Yeah, like, why not? We clear land. Like, that's what I do for a living. Like, it shouldn't be that big of a deal. You know what I mean? Of course it's super wooded lot, but like, whatever, it's no big deal. Like, and all that stuff. And then you get into it. And then you have the informed part where you're like, okay, now I'm informed. I kind of know what the cost of this is going to be. I kind of like, okay, actually it did take 85 trucks of asphalt to make the road around this place a quarter mile. Like, yeah, originally I thought, yeah, quarter mile road would be cool. It's like 87 trucks. Okay. Yeah. 87 trucks have a cost to it, like, oh yeah, I'll put the house up at this elevation so that we won't, and all of those things that you originally start out with, like, oh yeah, this can be a thing that can happen. You'll eventually get to the spot where I'm coming out of, which is the informed pessimism side, where I'm just like, okay, yeah, I've got now I have the data, now I have the reps, now I know more. And so then you're like, oh crap, this is going to be a lot more involved than you initially think. Like, originally, if you're into doing a homestead, that's why you're watching this video. You're like, oh yeah, man, I want to do the homestead thing. It'd be cool to have solar panels, my own well, and chickens, and my own cows, and have my kids be able to do whatever they want, and we'll be able to shoot guns, and whatever. Like, it'd be awesome, like, just to be out doing your thing. And it is. Like, I'm not gonna say that it's not. It's absolutely awesome. It's just a process. And if you're going to be successful doing it, you've got to love the process, not the end results. It's cool. Look at that structure and be like, wow, man, that thing's done. That's paid for. We owe no dollars on any of that thing. Like, that is a done for thing, right? We have the title to that sucker, right? Oh yeah, we've got, certain things. Like, I did 2 kitchen sinks in there because I don't like dirty dishes. When people put dirty dishes in my sink, I'm like, put them in your own sink, right? Like, I built all that stuff out. 19.5 foot ceilings in there, like the whole thing. All right, built this over here, this pad over here, for hopes of building a hangar situation at some point in time. Still need to purchase the land in the back to be able to run the runway to have 1,250 feet. But, like, I had all these dreams and these ideas when I started out with, like, oh yeah, we'll rock a homestead, and those things will happen. But what I will say is, start with the one thing that moves all of the dominoes forward, whatever that may be, that you can complete. Do not have multiple projects open. That's where I've made epic mistakes. I have, at this moment, maybe 6 or 7 projects that are open, but I'm down from like 12 that were open. I'm moving to 1. Like, I'm literally going, and I know that it's probably like a false dream to be able to get to like 1 that's, like, oh, we're only working on one thing at a time. Maybe it'll be 2, right? But I'm gonna like hold myself to like, no, we have to start a project with complete a project. What is the number one lead domino that will make all the other pieces go downhill? And so originally it's like, well, when you start with a raw piece of land, what is that? And it's probably putting a well in, even if the place is not cleared, right? You clear one section out, you get a well in there. You put a generator on it, you pump water. Once you've got water, it's epic. It can help compact dirt, it can help wash you off at the end of the day, help wash off machines. You can have bonfires, you can safely have bonfires because you got a way to extinguish them. Like, number one thing, if I buy a piece of raw land, like once you have access to it, once you got a culvert to it, whatever you need to access the thing, well, that's number one. Number two, you've got to get electricity to it, in my opinion. If you're going to bring the grid to your place, bring the grid to your place. Like, get it there. Once you've got those two elements there, then it's like, okay, what's the next thing that moves me forward? Once you get onto the property, once you're living on the property, everything starts to move a lot faster because there's just all these projects. Like we did 3,200 feet of fence this year, right? I had my employees and I did 3,200 feet of fence throughout this entire property. It was a lot. I was like, oh yeah, guys, the boys will bust this out in 1 week. It was 2 weeks. You know, it was 2 weeks and a lot of lumber. We spent 10 grand putting in that fence. And at some point, yeah, you gotta have a fence, because you can't have a fence. You can't do cows without the fence. You can't do, you can't do all the other things that you want to do until you get certain things done. But my message is, if you're starting out in any project that you're trying to accomplish, but if you're going to try to do a homestead, you got to figure out what are the lead dominoes. Literally begin with the end in mind. Write it out. Like, oh man, I want to have this place on solar panels. I want to have a plane that I can fly to in and out. I want to grow all my own food, and I want to be able to do this. I want to be able to do that. Start there, and then go to where you are, and then literally figure out what is the one thing, if I accomplished it, that would move everything else forward. It would make everything else easier. And like a tip, it's once you have access to the property, it's literally water. And once you have water, then it's electricity. After that, you have to think through, like, okay, well, should I get there? Like, is like being able to be able to overnight there, is that the next move? Is fencing it the next move? If you fence the property, like if I had fenced it, I had forestry mulching machines when I bought this place, but if I had fenced this place, could I just throw goats and cows on it and just say, screw it, I'll be here in a year? Like, you don't have to worry about it, right? Like, you just let the animals start tearing through it. And then when I come through with the tractor or the bobcat or whatever, yeah, we'll have to do work here. We'll have to grade things out, we'll have to seed things. But like, what is the one or two things that you could do that are going to move everything else forward? And then literally you've got to keep yourself to one, maybe two projects. You cannot have open projects. I have 7 open projects right now, down from 12 at the beginning of the year. I'm literally checking off this dock. If I do nothing else this week, I'm finishing that. So there'll be a video later this week, probably next weekend, because that's going to be like my time frame. Saturday will be my day. But it's like, that's finishing up. Saturday, Sunday, we'll probably have a video on it, but like, that's done. And that helps us move forward on everything else. But it's like, okay, now I'm going to have 6 open projects. So that's what you've got to do, is you've got to figure out what is the lead domino, and then keep yourself to one project, complete one project. You don't want to look like I did, like just redneck. Oh, I got this project, I got that project, I got this project. Oh, would be great. Because you know what's cool? Projects that are done, that are paying, that are working, that are like literally creating cash flow, things that are working, that you're no longer investing into. You don't have to put any effort into them. Once they're done, then you're getting the benefit of having invested in that previously. Now you're getting the returns on that. You're getting the yield on that, and then you can continue to move forward. So love you guys. See you on the next one.